Hi guys! Hi everyone! Turn down the music for a second. Forgive me. Hi, how are you doing? How's everyone doing? How's life? Well, that's sorry. I didn't mean to impose such a heavy question. How's life? I got a new shirt. You want to see? It says live fast, eat trash. It's like the opposite of what you normally hear. It's like eat healthy, live long, but live fatties, eat trash. Not like, you know, like, but moderate trash. Not too much. It's incredibly warm in here. So there's like a fan again on. I hope you guys don't hear it. I think it should be fine. But it's like 30 degrees Celsius today. And this room is on the south. So I have sunshine in this room from like 8 p.m. to like 8 a.m. Sorry, a.m. Until like 4 p.m. So a very long time. And it gets like... What's the English word for it? Like wet warmth, you know? Like sweaty warmth. Like humid. Humid. It's very humid warmth, so it's good that you can't hear the fan, because that's very important. Today, if you guys paid attention, there's like another title down there. It's not just Stardew Valley that we're playing today, but Tim actually asked if I wanted to be on his podcast to talk about the perfect game, which I couldn't say no to because I love talking about games. So, thank you, Tim, for giving me this opportunity to be in your podcast. I hope I can deliver, but I think we'll be fine. So, we'll start off with that. We'll start off with the podcast with Tim, which will take roughly an hour, because it's depending on, but I think it was like roughly an hour. And then maybe take a little water break if we need to, and then continue with Stardew Valley. Sounds like a plan? Good. So, even if it doesn't sound like a plan, it is the plan. So for podcast sake, I'll turn down the music. Turn down the music. That's OBS. Nope. And then we'll call Tim in. Let me know if you guys can hear him well enough. And then I'll change some settings here and there. Okay. Suddenly don't remember how this works. Wait, what? Oh my god. Oh, here it is. Hello, hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
Oh man,
I did
I
it.
swear, like just having to try and like have this running and have that running and change these settings, it gets obnoxious after a while.
Yeah, it does. I think audio is like the hardest part, isn't it? Right? With making
Yeah, because
videos as well.
like I'll change the audio on my computer, but I actually have to go and tell Discord, hey, now you're gonna update. And then sometimes I'll just be like, you know what, I'm not gonna do that. And then other programs you have to like completely close them and then reopen them.
Oh
For
god,
instance, I was
yeah.
playing Skyrim while I was waiting for your stream to start,
Hmm.
and Skyrim refuses to go through my headset unless I completely close it and reopen it.
Oh my god, yeah. I remember because I have the same issue with Discord, but then I can't use the app. So the app doesn't work, doesn't find my microphone, so I have to use the Chrome, like the Chrome, which is fine. It's fine, but it's like it's a little annoying. And some games indeed just don't pick up audio, and you have to close it. Sometimes in the worst case scenario, they don't even. And now I am. My thoughts are gone. Worst case scenario, you have to restart the whole PC. I had that a few times, especially when I just had this set up. But hey,
Yeah.
it works.
All right.
We're here.
So today you want to talk about the perfect game. So
Yeah.
I'm super excited about that because as a in case anyone doesn't know, I do make games. I'm still kind of new at it. It's been an on and off hobby for like almost like 4 to 6 years now. I'll start making games stuff like that, then I'll stop and go back to writing. And what I'm hoping to do is to take some of my short stories, turn them into horror games. But there's a difference between what I am mentally capable of and what I can physically do. Because sometimes you'll just hit a bug and you don't really know how to fix it. Um, and then it'll just be like it'll drive you insane. But yeah, so I guess as far as the perfect game goes, um, I feel like the perfect game would be something that you can switch between a lot of different things, even though there's kind of like one main thing you're doing. Like for instance, with Skyrim, you go on a quest and you kill stuff. And then, but you can also stop and work on like smithing and enchanting. Um, so something that you can invest a lot of time to do on the side, kind of like an MMO, would also I feel like would be really great. So I guess like for starters, what are your favorite kinds of games?
So I obviously thought about this, and then I came to the conclusion that it's single-handedly most of them are single player. So that I think
Yeah.
says a lot. Um, so most of them, I think Monster Hunter, the Monster Hunter series, is the biggest exception of that, because it's impossible to play on your own at some point. Um, but then every single other thing would be single player, would be either an RPG, so role playing game in the sense that I get to choose my character, which is a huge part of
Yeah.
playing a
Yeah.
story. On the other hand, if you look at, for example, The Witcher 3, which you obviously can't choose your character, I mean, you're Geralt. That's it. I still enjoy that game very much in the same sense that you say there's a lot of things to do. Um, well, maybe that one's maybe more linear. What was your this really happens. What was your question again? Like for starters, what are my favorite games? So yeah, RPGs would be very safe for me.
What I liked with Skyrim is you can switch between third person and first person.
Mm.
So I want the ability to do that.
Yeah, so I always thought that I only like games that are third person. I always had a very hatred for example, top down games for some reason. I remember playing Diablo 3 and I was like, oh, this is top down. I don't like this. And then I bought Baldur's Gate, having like no clue of what it is. I just knew it came out in like 3 days. I never knew that the game was like in the making of like 6 years. They took it to make it, and I bought it, and that was top down as well. And it took me, I think, a day or something to get used to it. And I was like, oh yeah, I like this perspective. I like the fact that I can see everything. So
Oh, have
yeah.
you played Don't Starve?
No, I haven't, but I do have seen a few playthroughs of it.
What so top yeah, Don't Starve is also that top down
Yeah.
view. So the next thing I wanted to possibly go over is difficulty. Now
Mm.
as a game dev, difficulty is a pain in the ass. The main one being that when I make a game and I'm play testing it, eventually, you know, because you've made every aspect of that game, and you play tested the crap out of it, you'll naturally be good at your own game. So it's difficult to tell, like, okay, you know, what's too hard and what's too easy. Um, so that's just starting off. And then as far as difficulty goes, what I want to see more of,
Mm.
which I haven't seen a lot of games do, like, ever, is multiple difficulty settings. For instance, I'm making an action game where you mow down a bunch of dudes. And there
Mhm.
are two main difficulties. There are how many units spawn, um, how much health and damage they do, and their tactics. So you can have the because one thing I hate is like the difficulty just makes the enemies obnoxiously harder and combat just takes longer. I'm not too big of a fan of that, but I like enemies that are are more accurate. Are Call of Duty Black Ops had a playing against the bots version, which was pretty fun. All the bots do is kind of randomly wander around, and the difficulty determines how quickly. So the bots, when they go to kill you, look at you, and all the difficulty does is gives you how much time before they start shooting you. But
Mm.
because they're bots, they don't really miss.
No.
So that's all the difficulty did. So all of a sudden they'll just start shooting, like they'll just look at you, and that's like, is it a full second? Is it half a second? Is it a quarter of a second?
Mm.
So something that maybe changes their tactics. So they pop out of cover. For less amount of time to shoot you, dodge more, run away from your grenades more.
Mm.
Just something to where they're more skilled. Something like that would be nice, and not just a flat like everything's just harder to kill.
Yeah, okay. I think gaming difficulty is so personal as well, but I think from your perspective as a game developer is what makes, cuz it's easy to make what you say, like make a game more difficult in the way that enemies will spot you easier or faster or more aggressive towards you, deal more damage, stuff like that, because that's pretty easy to change. I also find it hard. Like gaming difficulty, it also depends so much on the game that you're playing. Because
Yeah, then you have games like Fallout and Skyrim added this as well, but a survival mode where you're not
yeah,
able to fast travel. You have to worry about food,
mm,
water, sleep,
Subnautica
temperature.
style actually, like makes me think of Subnautica as well.
Yeah,
It
because
has the
like
same
I
system.
recently Yeah, because I recently picked up Fallout 4, or not recently picked up Fallout 4, but started playing it again,
Hmm.
and I was like, huh, I've never done survival mode before, and it completely changes the game because you can only save when you sleep in a bed. So
Yeah.
which means like you might walk all the way across the city, slowly get past all these hordes of like monsters and stuff, get shot, then have to do it all again, and so like that, and okay, I haven't slept in a while, so my character's vision is blurred. I'm nodding up and down. So just a simple. So that's a really good show of like difficulty being harder in the best way. Because I mean, just tossing on survival mode completely changes the game. But
Yeah.
that doesn't really work for every game. Like survival mode for Gears of War would not work.
No, because Gears of War. Oh God, I never played that game because it was an Xbox exclusive, right? Because
Yeah.
if you would, how would you? How would that be different from Gears of War? Because I know nothing about that game. So I mean, Fallout 4 makes a lot of sense. Survival mode. That I think that really adds up the difficulty of a game, especially a role playing game, because it makes it more realistic. But making it more realistic, is that the same thing of making it more difficult?
It's just a different level of difficulty. For instance, in Skyrim, where you have to, it's really easy to ignore the environment while you're running around, besides it just looking nice. But then like you have to worry about freezing. So then
Mm.
also, so all of a sudden, when you're running across the map, you have to look for. So two things have to happen, which I think is fascinating. One is your gear now has like a thermal rating to how much it protects you from the cold. So if
Oh
you
yeah.
have a long ways to go, instead of being able to keep on your super amazing gear, you might have to switch over to gear that'll keep you warmer. Um, and then you have to keep the only way to keep warm out there is with these random fires that are all over the place that you usually just
Ah.
ignore. All of a
Yeah.
sudden, you have to keep them in mind. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know if that adds an enchantment to make gear more insulated. Um, but I do know having to keep around two sets of gear, and also your carrying capacity is like half of what it normally is.
Oh God.
Um,
Yeah. So you
so
have to be more selective in what you bring.
yeah, you have to
Hmm.
be real careful. Like you have oh, and then arrows also weigh something.
Oh, so they didn't weigh anything beforehand.
No, it's something you don't even
Ah.
think about, but then you're like, oh crap, like that's not good. Same thing for Fallout, where normally your bullets weighed nothing, but all of a sudden they do weigh something. So it's
Hmm.
like with your gun, with all of your guns and all of your bullets and all your health items, but you can only carry like half as much. You had to be real picky about what you grab. So what I was doing, you have a sniper rifle, a pistol, and then an assault rifle
Hmm.
for if I get cornered, and
Yeah.
then it was just bullets and health and stuff like that. But then it's like you also have to worry about looting as well.
Yeah.
So but then like you also can't fast travel, so it's like I'd show up to so in Fallout I'd go to a quest, kill everything, come back with my power armor and loot the whole place.
Hmm.
um because it's just the only like logistical way to like bring all that stuff back, because putting it all in your own pockets and then walking all the way back would
Yeah.
not work. But then it's like you put in all this effort to go there, kill stuff, go back, get your power, come back and loot, and then what happens if you find like a legendary death claw and it murders you? So it's like
Yeah.
even like the boring walk back, you have so much to lose at this point, because you're gonna have to redo
Yeah.
everything you just did if you die, and it also changes the game. So it's like I don't even know how like I mean, I don't think you can just wing a survival mode. But with like
No.
Fallout 4, it was amazing. With Skyrim, it was really cool. But it's like I can shoot fire from my hands, but I can't warm myself up doing that. Like, how does that work?
Yeah. And maybe, well, it gets the, it's an God, I have to say the English word. Intricacy, is that the right word? To get that kind of detail right.
Yeah, yeah.
It's an older game as well. I have to make a confession. I never played Skyrim. I know. I
What?
know. Oh no! Oh no! Sorry, I had Dragon's Dogma. That was my Skyrim. I know it's B tier, but it's okay.
Well, I mean, Skyrim's a basic like it's a very large. Well, it's not basic. It's a very large open world game. You go on quests and kill stuff, and there's lots of
Yeah.
side things you can do.
I mean,
Um,
I've
one
watched.
thing. Good.
Oh, sorry. No, I watched a lot of people played it, and I've watched a few playthroughs. Because some people like revisit the game once in a while or play the
Yeah.
original without all the. And I love to watch uh the playthroughs of those type of games, but I don't feel the urge anymore to play Skyrim. I have played. Oh God, what was the one before that? Before Skyrim?
Oblivion.
Oh yeah, Oblivion. I played Oblivion for a couple of hours. I think I put like 30, 40 hours in it, but I think the repetitiveness of going into the tower, destroying the tower, I think, and I didn't fully understand because I was pretty young. How old are those games at this point?
Um, let's just say last year and not worry about it.
Yeah, no worries. No, but I think your age has to do a lot with it as well. I think
Yeah.
uh those type of games are more fun if you get the idea of what a role playing game is and with like points and like when you fully understand it. But yeah, what you say
So,
about oh sorry
no good.
no what you say about gaming difficulty because you say for example with Fallout 4 you have to think about so many things, right? How much you bring, go back with the power armor, don't worry about getting killed on the back way back. I always wondered like how is that fun?
It's the tactical decisions of
Mm,
it is the fun part.
yeah.
One thing I love in a game is when you're kind of like in a position where you're kind of just screwed and you have to use your brain and problem solving and planning to get out of it.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I like is you can only bring a few weapons with you, a few health items with you. Oh, and then also with Fallout survival difficulty. When you take pain meds, and normally they instantly heal you. In this,
Mm.
they don't. They heal you over time, and it's kind of
Ah.
slow. So you can't just take a bunch of shots if you start screwing up. But then also
Ah.
taking the shots makes you thirsty. So, but then water also takes up like a lot of room in your inventory. It's heavy.
Yeah.
Um, and so then also you have to worry about diseases as well. I have had playthroughs where I'm like, I don't know what to do because I have a nasty infection, can't find anybody to sell me antibiotics, and
No.
my disease progressed to a point where I'm start taking like a fourth of my entire health as damage every minute.
Oh my
And so
god.
like, yeah, I know that's the part. So it's just like you might have playthroughs where like, okay, I have to stop because I can't find antibiotics and I
Hmm.
keep dying. So you have to restart it, and then next time you remember, oh, that's right, I'm gonna have to. So what killed me last time is I got to stock up on antibiotics.
Yeah.
um, but then it's like I can't tell you what it feels like to like, okay, I have an infection. All right, I took antibiotics. Okay, I'm good to go. And 2 minutes later, some stupid cockroach bites me, and I'm back to being infected again. I'm like, are you serious?
Not again. No, I've been fooled twice. Oh
um,
god, it seems.
but I also like. Good.
Oh no, it seems so. At the other hand, seems so frustrating as well. But I think
Yeah.
what you say is like the tactical challenge of like surviving because essentially what you're doing. I mean, looking for antibiotics, trying not to die, going from one bed to the other, trying to find like food and water. It sounds so much like surviving.
Well, I
So,
mean, so the ghoul hordes on normally are like, oh no, ghouls. You shoot them on, you're like, okay, cool, that was dealt with.
mm,
On survival, you're like, oh shit, and you have
mm,
to like you crouch and hide because they'll slaughter you because like the
yeah.
one on survival until you're like level 20 or 30, ghouls might one shot you.
Oh my
So then all of a
god.
sudden you have a horde of them, and so it's like you're having to pick like, okay, do I want to risk killing this dude? Because I mean, you
Mm,
don't really get silencers to like level 10 or level 20
mm,
unless you get lucky and find one. So it's like, if you shoot one, you're going to be shooting them all. So it's like then you're trying to creep around the place or whatever. But it's like,
ah,
so I had this problem where I was doing okay. Some ghouls popped up. I'm like, oh crap! But I hid in this back room and kept the door closed, and I could hear them walking around. And I was waiting and waiting and waiting. Then my thirst starts to build, and then I run
oh
out of water.
no! And
So
it
all of
didn't
a sudden,
leave.
yeah, because when you start getting let's see, it's Being dehydrated, I forget if it lowers your maximum health or your maximum stamina, but
Yeah.
it's one of them, and then
Yeah.
food does the other. Yeah, I think food lowers your maximum stamina. So all of a
Mm.
sudden you run out of food, and you're like, oh crap, I can only run so far so fast. Then there's also your stealth rating you got to worry about. So it makes the game terrifying. It
Mm.
turns you into a normal, shoot 'em up, action game to like, pure horror at its finest.
Oh my
Um,
god.
Hearing a what's it called? Have you played Fallout 4?
I bought it last like a couple of weeks ago because it was on sale because of the TV series and stuff. And I remember having it played once for like a couple of hours because I remember how the game starts, and then I didn't commit, so I still have to play it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So they have these dudes called mutants,
Mm-hmm.
which are they're like normal shooting dudes, but they're really tanky. They're kind of dumb, and they do some absolute craziness at times.
Mm.
Where So one of their uses is called a suicider. He has a mini nuke in his hand. He'll run up to you and detonate it.
Oh.
And like
Oh.
when he's walking around, you cannot shoot the nuke in his hand. Once he's pissed off and looking for you, he pulls out the nuke and it's armed, and you can shoot it in his hand. But it's also making this beeping sound when he gets really close to you. So I can't tell you what
Oh.
it's like hiding in a dumpster with
And
him
hearing
right
the beeping
outside.
sound.
Yeah, you're like, doot, 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 doot. You're like, oh my god, just go away,
Go go
kill
go.
someone else, anyone but me.
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, I can
So it means it's like a
imagine.
survival horror game. Like that's what I love is and that like survival mode was not originally on Skyrim. And normally in Skyrim, there's lots of food everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like a normal prop. But on survival, we have to worry about like food and water and stuff. Now you're like, oh yeah, I need to stockpile all this food. Um,
Yeah.
but then so Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, I think you can just save normally in Skyrim.
Mm.
So one thing, what's the word? I liked the idea of having to sleep in a bed so you can't just save all the time. Um, but there were some like annoying problems with that. One thing I had to start doing in Fallout is I would have stash houses where I would go around
Mm.
and just stash like food and water, so I don't have to carry it around with me all the time.
Yeah, because you
Um,
have the limited
so
backpack space.
yeah,
God.
yeah.
Ah.
So, a game having like two different play modes where you have the normal, story stuff and you have
Mm-hmm.
survival mode, it completely changes the game. Me and some people were talking about survival mode for Fallout, for Fallout
Mm.
on the forums, and we got several people interested in trying it. So it's like, and once again, it goes from like, okay, maybe you're looking for something more survival horror, and all it is changing the difficulty setting. That's pure genius.
Yeah, that's like good game design as well.
Yeah.
I would at least I as a noob in game design because I don't look at games the way maybe you do. Um, that would change a lot. At the other hand, it for me personally it would be too. There would be too many things at the same time. I don't know. I think it's really personal if you like that or not, because I get very easily frustrated in games. So if I had
Yeah.
to think about water and food, and that's maybe all right, that's like two things, food and water.
Yeah.
I think my little brain can handle that. But if I have to worry about like infection, buying antibiotics, which makes complete sense in the world of Fallout, um, which I
Yeah,
find
antibiotics are not cheap either.
no, because imagine, because I watched the series, and I think for someone who does not know very much about the Fallout universe, I did watch after that series. I watched like 10 videos about the vaults, so I do know a bit about the vaults now. Um, for someone who hasn't played the game yet, where was I going with this story? Oh,
It's just
it's
mentally blanket.
yeah, mentally blank. But I think what antibiotics that was where I were. It makes sense, So not only just because what you said, like making the difficulty more difficult, as in that you take more damage, etc. The enemy spots you a little bit faster, but the way they implement the difficulty matches the world that you're in, so it makes sense. Um, It makes sense that you have to search for antibiotics. It makes sense that it takes a part of your health. It makes sense that you get bitten by cockroaches. And I think that's for because Fallout isn't that young as well. That's also a little of an older game, I think. I don't remember. It's been around.
Yeah,
So that's
because
pretty smart as well.
like the thing that's the problem with difficulty is I like it when all of my instincts are have to because I mean I'm one of those people where when I play a game I do my best and I'm really good at like okay so I'm gonna equip this ring because it's gonna give me an extra five
Mm,
percent of this and this necklace is gonna like help that as well and these two pieces of stuff go together really well like I really love to just sit there and go through all the numbers and try and figure out, okay, what is the absolute most damage that I can squeeze
yeah.
out of this, a good balance of health and stuff. So, I personally enjoy doing that. So usually with games, I play on a higher difficulty. Then you have my sister who just wants to be entertained.
Mm,
And so she plays everything on the easiest difficulty. So like as a game dev trying to make a game where that allows for all the different skill sets, um, difficulty can be absolutely obnoxious
yeah.
to get right.
Yeah.
Making something that's for you don't have to make a game that's for everyone, but it's a good idea. Like there's no drawbacks to not making a game that's for everyone. You really do want to make that,
Do you
but it's
think
not the easiest to get
that there
right.
are oh sorry. Do you think that there are games that are for everyone?
Yeah, I mean Minecraft.
Mm.
I
Oh
like to
yeah.
play Minecraft on hardcore mode.
Yeah.
But I do kind of get bored of that game pretty easily.
Mm.
Because like you'll hit this point where you're kind of like waiting for an accident to happen, and that doesn't really matter that much. So I mean now, uh, so some of my friends would do that where we have this. There'd be 10 of us on a server, and it's hardcore mode. Um, and we played with these mods that made it more survival based, where
Mm.
crops don't grow even remotely as fast. Um, you have to worry about food and hunger and all this other stuff. So it's fun to play, but then it's like you die, and then when people start dying off from accidents, there's less and less people on the server, um, and then like you can get really scary at times.
Yeah, cuz yeah, I think that's a good answer. Like Minecraft is indeed for everyone. Like if you want to just be in go in creative mode and build stuff,
Yeah.
and that's for everyone, and then you have
So,
survival mode. Cool.
yeah, I mean, like, yeah, hardcore mode. Like, once you die, you can never rejoin this. You can't. It automatically deletes
Oh.
your save game.
Oh my god, that's very hardcore. Jesus. That's
Yeah, do you know
like
what
there's
it's like
no
going
chill.
into
No
I
chill
had times
button.
where like I there were there were like those small spiders that poison you
Yeah.
and they were pushing me further and further into this dungeon that I hadn't explored yet and I'm running and panicking and then I was able to corner myself in this wall and then realize oh crap I'm out of food and I was like oh my god this is not okay and I'm having to just kind of like dig my way out and stuff and it's absolutely terrifying
Mm.
then there's how different ways that you can play Minecraft, for instance. When the Hunger Games first came out, I
Yeah.
was joining Hunger Games servers left and right, where it's PvP, and then
Mm.
if you die, that's it, you're dead. Um, and then you're trying to win that. So, but it's like, oh, it is just like some server settings. So Minecraft allows you to like install mods or just change the server settings and the rules and do all these different things. Making a game that allows that is yeah, and then as you said before, the creative aspect of just building stuff for fun. Yeah, I've
Mm.
had that. I've had times where I join a friend and we go on an adventure to explore, caves and stuff. The only problem with Minecraft is without heavily modding it, you do kind of hit this point in the game where it feels very repetitive.
Mm.
Um, because like you've got diamond armor with some good enchantments, and you don't really care about stuff anymore. Um, but yeah, I would definitely say Minecraft. Just because like you can build stuff and everything, but making a building mechanic in a game is also a colossal pain. For
Yeah.
instance, Fallout also allows you to
Shelters, right?
build up a settlement. Say
Oh
what?
yeah, settlement. I remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the problem is that when I place down a wall, the enemies will go around it, but they won't attack it, which means that if you really want to, you can take a settlement, surround it with walls, and it can't really get to you, and it's easy to just put them in like a bottleneck area where they're exposed and you can see them, but they can't really see you too easily, and you just shoot them all. So Fallout kind of they didn't quite do that right.
It's not the
But at the same
strongest
time,
selling point. It's not the
yeah,
strongest selling point, no.
yeah, it was too easy to abuse.
Mm.
Now on survival mode though, I was doing this mission where I'm just like, man, these mutants, I go there and they slaughter me. So I took a nearby settlement, fortified this house, and gave myself a few spots to shoot out of, but made sure that like I can duck behind something and they can't shoot me in the rest of the house, and they have to stay outside. So then what I did is I fortified this house, went and pissed off the mutants, ran back to the settlement and hid in this house and defended them off. It took 2 or 3 tries because all it takes is a few bullets to kill you.
Mm.
But more tactical stuff like that worked really well. But once again, at a certain point, it's just too easy to survive. So base building can be hard to do, but it can be really rewarding if you pull it off because it allows players to be as creative as they want.
Mm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, then so Oblivion. My favorite thing to do was to play this what I call the Mage Killer class. I take the sign of the I think it's called the Archernach, or it might be called the Juggernaut in Oblivion. I forget, but basically your mana does not regen, but when you take magical damage, you take half the damage, and half of that damage that you absorb goes back into your mana bar.
Smart.
So then Oh, it gets even better. I made this ring that when I put it on, it sets me on fire, but it's magical damage. So if I build
Mm.
up my fire resistance, I can put on this ring and essentially have unlimited mana. There's only one drawback. If you forget to take it off, because you are taking damage, so if you forget to take it off while you're sleeping, you arrive and you're dead.
Oh God.
Oh crap! Sorry.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that makes it a little more challenging. Don't forget to take the ring off before going to bed.
They
That's
they
smart.
massively nerfed. Yeah, they massively nerfed enchanting in Skyrim. So in Oblivion, you can put any enchantment on anything. You wear like a bunch of different rings and stuff like that at the same time. And in Skyrim, they're like, no. There's enchantments are locked to specific pieces of gear to a point where it just kind of became obnoxious. And I get it. They wanted to make sure that you couldn't just okay, I've got a Grand Soul Gem and I have 100% magic resistance. They wanted to make sure that it wasn't really easy to do that. You can still do that, but like I don't know. I felt too limited, you know.
Yeah. But that's also like Oblivion is also that was before gaming got pretty mainstream. Was that not like a
Yeah.
so there was like at least that's my assumption that there's like a less of a base of people who buy the game. So that's my assumption then. I don't know how to
Yeah. So
explain
yeah.
it.
Geez, we spent like 20 minutes talking about difficulty.
Next
um,
question, please.
all right. So stuff to do. I I'm one of those people where in Fallout 4, the idea is that you get put on cryo, you get woken up, some dude hijacks your son, shoots your wife in the face or your spouse in the face, and you're off on a quest to go and find him. I'm one of those people where I actually have no idea what happened to my son because I do all the side quests.
Oh yeah. I'm that kind of person as well. Yeah.
Now, I like having now in Skyrim, for instance, you have smithing and enchanting, and it's fun to do those things on the side because that helps you make your gear, which does help you in the game. The only problem with Skyrim and smithing is you'll hit this point where you can make orcish gear. The next step up after that is ebony gear. The only problem is that you have to level up your smithing in order to be able to make ebony gear, or pay for it outright when you're finally high enough level, and then those items start being spawned inside of shops and stuff. The problem is it takes so long to go from orcish gear to ebony gear that I've been grinding for like a week, like just making iron daggers over and over and over again, like the easiest item that you can possibly make. To level up your smithing, but it takes like I think like 2,000-3,000 iron daggers in order to in order to be able to like boost up your stats enough to be able to make ebony gear. So there's nothing in between. So you kind of hit this point where you're like, oh my god, I don't want to do this anymore. So I'll just buy a ton of ingredients, put on a podcast, and just sit there and just
Yeah.
make daggers all day and night.
It reminds me of Monster Hunter because I don't know. Have you played Monster Hunter as a series?
I have not. I actually don't
Okay.
really know anything about Monster Hunter except that I'm assuming you have a big boss you have to kill with everyone.
Oh, let me tell you. Let me tell you. uh, Monster Hunter is obviously a monster hunting game, so the whole game exists from doing essentially boss fights. But then the grinding aspect of it is very large. So you kill a monster, and then you craft gear from that monster, so you make better gear. Kill the next monster because you have better gear, and then craft. Well, and that's like an ongoing cycle until the endlessness. And you can put like what's the right word again? I forgot the word, but it's like gemstones on the armor, and the gemstones have like
Oh yeah,
specific have
enchant.
like yeah like specific skill sets. So you would have
Yeah.
like the gems are connected to certain skills, and depending on the weapon that you choose, because Monster Hunter has like 14 base weapons, and depending on the weapon that you choose, you have like different skills that you want to bonus on your armor. But in order to craft those gems, you need like very high valued
Yeah.
gemstones from monsters and stuff, which have an extremely low drop rate. So you have to specifically break like a left wing, I don't know, and then not kill the monster but capture it. So the drop rate, and then I'm talking like with drop rates about 0.8%, you know, and then you need 6 of them. So it's not like,
Oh
and it's like that's where I as a huge Monster Hunter fan, because I enjoy the grinding till some point, but if you
yeah.
once you like enter master rank, like the highest rank, at some point it is just grinding because of the grinding, and there's no other way to get these gemstones than to grind them, because you can't buy them. You can't do that. You can't, and you can't trade, even if it's a multiplayer game. I do hope that, because next year the new Monster Hunter 6 comes out, Monster Hunter Wilds, that there's maybe like an online trading situation. I don't know how they're gonna do that, but there's like, it's impossible to get these gemstones unless you find them yourself. So
Oh, see,
that's
that's the
where
problem. Yeah,
that
that's the problem with like an online trading system. Is it's
yeah.
really easy to okay because I had that problem with I think it was Guild Wars I think it was the first Guild Wars where I met this dude and he put on this banner and we ran across the world. I was gaining tons of experience just doing all this stuff and they gave me a bunch of gear and stuff which massively teleported me forward, which launched me forward as
Mm,
far as strength and stuff goes. But then, part of the game is supposed to be, earning all that stuff.
yeah. Yeah, you're right. So I don't know how that, but I'm for me as a casual player, for someone who does not put like 1,000 hours in a save file, I do not do that. Um,
I do like grinding to a degree. I like
mm,
more I need to make a tactical decision.
yeah,
Let me give one of the games that I absolutely love purely for its tactics is Path of Exile. Have you played that?
no, but the title says me something. I think I have it wishlisted on Steam.
So Path of Exile is free to play.
Yeah.
They abuse microtransactions like you wouldn't believe. This guy that had fiery wings on his back is like, oh my god, how do you get those? He's like, they're $50. I'm
Oh
like,
my god,
what?
for
Are you
cosmetic?
kidding me?
No.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
that's
for flaming wings, just for flaming wings. I'm like,
that's like the
no,
basic
I'm
bitch
not
of
doing.
cosmetics as well.
It's
Oh,
like, no, well, they were really cool. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, I might pay $5, but I'm not paying for a AAA game for fire wings. Like, screw
no.
that shit.
No.
Um, but so with Path of Exile, you my god, enchanting is its own game. So imagine this. You have sockets on your gear.
Mm-hmm.
And the higher level you get, the more sockets that can
Yeah.
appear. And then they have colors like red, blue, and green, and white. And white can take any socket. Then you have some sockets
Ah.
that are sometimes linked, and will sit there and feed off of each other. And so you put in gems, and these gems are like, okay, if it's linked to another fire gem, it gets these bonuses. So then
Yeah.
it's like, okay, then you save up, so you get all these random pieces of gear. You find the one piece that you might actually need with the right sockets that you need to really max stuff out.
Yeah.
But then it's like you get these gems and stuff like that drop that allow you to alter your gear, like okay, randomly like change the layout of sockets on this piece of armor.
Mm.
So there's tons to like, I've sat there for days in a town just going over, just trying to like remix the sockets,
Mm.
playing out how this is going to work with this and all this other stuff. So that is one thing I love about Path of Exile. The only problem is that system kind of breaks down because it gets to a point where you're like, okay, I've killed a boss and there's 100 different pieces of loot on the ground and I have to go through them all and
Mm.
teleport back and sell them, and it's just like it gets tedious after a
Yeah.
while. So making grinding that's not tedious, you know, I love grinding. I love going over
Yeah.
these
But
different aspects of it, but I don't like
those
it to where it's like brain numbing.
now, I think, but grinding at some points will get tedious, and then the question is, how long is it going? Realistically, is it going to take you to, and is it worth it, as well as that? Because I'm replaying Monster Hunter World, which somewhat uses the same system, but instead of dropping loot, they drop like bones and shit. So you use the
Yeah.
bones of the monster to make armor. Um, so I'm replaying Monster Hunter World, and there's like a DLC which is also a few years old, like Iceborne. And they ramp up the difficulty in Iceborne a lot, so you have to be somewhat prepared before going into Iceborne. They have like a recommended rank and stuff. Then I really look up like, okay, I'm using this weapon. How do I maximize the crit damage? Because I want to do a lot of critical damage, and there's like a ton of different builds as well. So it's also hugely customizable to what
Mm,
kind of player that you are. Do you like to do lots of big damage, or do you like to do high DPS? Um, damage per second for the people
yeah.
who maybe do not know what it is. Do you like to do a lot of damage per second, or what kind of player are you? And I somehow enjoy that a lot because I do like to look up on my iPad and figure out how people do that, and I write down with what ingredients that I all need, and then comes the actual finding of the ingredients, and then I do enjoy that. But what you say, if there's like 100 pieces of loot on the ground, the system is a little bit easier to follow because Monster Hunter World was the first worldwide Monster Hunter game that came out. So before that, it was just Nintendo bound games. So they were all just released on Nintendo and specifically Japan. So it's a lot bigger in Japan and Asia. And then Monster Hunter World came out worldwide, and then it became a little bit more user friendly. So the systems of using materials, using weapons became a little bit more user friendly, and the real Monster Hunter fans will now challenge me and say that they became easier, and no, they just became more accessible. That's two different things.
Yep.
Two different
Yeah.
things.
But
Looking at you,
uh,
the OGs.
So
Jesus.
yeah, to recap what we've gone over so far,
Yeah.
we have the control, like the camera layout, because I mean some
Mm,
people like to look at their character. I don't really care. I usually
mm,
play in first person, but I like being able to switch.
yeah.
You got difficulty, and then having a difficulty that allows you to like customize the game for your play choice. Like it would be kind of cool if everyone's damage went up, but their health stayed the same. So you have to avoid like gunfights a little bit more dangerous.
Mm,
Um, then you've got you've got the more stuff to do. So you got the main
yeah.
quest, you got side quests, you got stuff like grinding and
Mm,
enchanting and smithing and all that.
yeah.
So after that, I want games that I can play with friends. I don't like it when I'm like, yeah, I've got this really awesome character, but I can't show it to anyone except for
Oh
a
yeah.
video. Like that's, I don't know. I want to be able to play with my friends. They came out with Skyrim co-op,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't know if that's a base part of the game or if it's a mod. I'm pretty sure it's a mod. But yeah, being able to play with friends is important. What I've always wanted to see in an MMO is, maybe I can download the game to my computer and play by myself. Like World of Warcraft would
Mm,
be awesome if I could just play by myself, or have in the options menu turn off being able to see and interact with other people would be great.
mm. Yeah.
It's like I like open world games like
Mm-hmm.
MMOs, but I don't really like people.
It's such a coincidence that those two things come together, right? Because
Yeah,
my recollection, MMO stands for massive multiplayer, right?
online.
Online. Okay, yeah. Just because I never play MMOs. Um,
Oh,
yeah, I did.
Path
I
of
did.
Exile is an MMO.
Yeah, but I think I played. God, World of Warcraft for like Blue Monday, and then I had to pay. You have to pay for that monthly, which I
Yeah.
obviously understand, but I'm not too committed to that type of games that I want to pay monthly. So I did that for like a month and then put it away. I also because and you're talking about like playing with your friends, not necessarily playing with strangers. Do I understand that correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you would say there's a difference between and do you like would you prefer playing like co-op in the same room as like Mario Kart, Ash, like next to each other doing something fun together, or is it more like because you said like I make like a cool character and I want to show my friends? Is it about going through the story together as well, or is it just
Yeah.
sharing the experience of games?
It's actually all of it.
Mm.
So here's the thing. One thing I hate about getting older is, you move away from you move away from you and your friends. Sometimes you get busy. It's just easier to just talk and hang out over a computer. So having a
Yeah,
game where we can play together is absolutely great.
yeah,
Be able to play Battlefield with some of my old high school friends has been huge.
yeah.
Playing Minecraft with different people. I play Space Engineers a lot, and I'm on this server that has people from all over the world. So I get to
Mm.
talk with people from like Brazil, Norway, the Netherlands, Finland, Brazil, China, India, just all over the place. You get to learn about different cultures while also playing a game, so it's really healthy.
Mm.
Um, so be able to play with people, but not having to, because like as far as I know, there is no MMO that lets you turn off people. Um,
No,
so
no, not to my recollection
yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I have a friend Dan who was he dragged me into so many MMOs, and we were those two people that we'd find an MMO, go to get into PvP, and maximize every single thing that we can. Like, okay, I'm gonna use
Yeah.
we'd have in World of Warcraft we were stupid good at PvP.
Mm.
What World of Warcraft does allow you to create a macro where when you press a button and it's all kind of programmed stuff for it to do. Where okay, it's going to use
Yeah.
this skill and use this skill. So we get to the point where like okay, we got a shit ton of different skills, but it's all assigned to one macro. I press one macro, and my player goes through all these different motions and use all these different skills and stuff like that. So essentially, you're essentially like with World of Warcraft, we're doing more programming than actual playing. Um, but so we love to like max out and stuff like that. But at the same time, like the other downside is playing with random people online. You get a lot of stupid people, like
Mm-hmm.
10-year-olds. Like, I don't want to talk to a child. Go away.
No, there's like, and it depends on the, I guess the game you're playing, because as I said, never play, especially online multiplayers, except for Monster Hunter, which is really an exception in that. Um, I think that's the biggest reason why I would avoid multiplayer as well. And maybe, but I'm not sure. But I also think because I'm a woman, I don't know. I, mm, I can't really take the hate. I'm not very good at like I don't cuss for fun. I don't, and I see like these reels or like TikTok videos of like female streamers who like play Battlefield or something, and they're actually pretty good at it, and they get so much shit. And I know,
Yeah.
guys, it's not everyone. I know. There's a lot of lovely people out there as well, but that's a very big reason for me to say I always will avoid voice chat. Always. I will never
Yeah.
actually talk to someone who I do not know. And I just I'm and I can't take that. If I hear like what some people say to each other, and even if it's like a little shit talking, because I know if you play like Call of Duty of all the fucking games that you can choose, shit talking comes with the game. I get that, but I'm just too soft of a softie. I can't handle that. I just want to be. I want to play fun games together and have a good time. I don't want to be scolded. And I also suck at gaming, so that that doesn't help.
And that's something as like a game dev I have to take in consideration, because like when it comes to games, you and I are like polar opposites. Like
Mm-hmm.
I want it to be as hard and scary and dangerous as humanly possible.
Yeah, I do not.
So, and I mean, yeah, there is no, I know it's not all men, but there is no denying that there is a
Yeah.
very toxic part of the gaming community that is very like anti-women. Freaking Counter Strike, like I stopped playing because it was just really easy to be joining a game, and then a bunch of douchebags would pop up, and the moment they hear a girl get on chat, they'd vote kick her out just because like just because of her gender and stuff. And
Mm,
there's nothing wrong with being like sensitive.
no.
That's just who you are. That's just who you are. But yeah, being sensitive, not being able to like, not having like a wide variety of skill for games, and also your gender, like all that mixed together, like yeah, that'd be really hard to deal with. And yeah, it'd be hard to get away from that. But it's like if you don't have any friends that play the game, um, how are you supposed to how are you supposed to kind of get to know how are you supposed to get to know people? Now luckily for you, with games like that, there are, like for Call of Duty, Halo, World of
Mm,
Warcraft, there are plenty of groups, you can go and find them online that are like, hey, we're just we're a friendly group that's not
yeah.
going to be, dicks to you, whatever. You can go and play with just those people.
Yeah.
Call of Duty is notorious, or at least they were, for having people that can pay for their own servers and have their own rules, and a
Mm.
lot of those servers will kick out people that are toxic like that.
I think that's a
Um,
great thing to do, and it's a great thing to have. And it's so wonderful to see, and I think that comes with the fact that gaming is a little bit gets more mainstream. There's a lot more people who are playing games, and there's a lot more people who are playing online games, and there's a lot of people meeting each other, which you said as well, like meeting people from all around the world. And there's like a consensus with each other, like, hey, man, we got to do better. And it's good to hear that people take up such initiatives to create a safe gaming space. Lovely to hear.
yeah, and like with Battlefield, they also have so the problem with a game like Call of Duty or Battlefield is, you're thrown into it with everybody. So you
Yeah.
might be going up against someone who's been playing the Call of Duty games for 15 years, has like $1,000 mouse, has all the games and perks unlocked, and you're like, huh, all I have
Yeah.
is the M16 starting off. Okay,
Yeah.
so I mean, so with games like Battlefield, you have tons of servers that are like, hey, this server is only for noobs, and so you get kicked if you're too high of a rank,
Mm.
which allows new people to go and play the game and enjoy it in a safe environment that's meant for people that are either new to the game or just low in skill. A lot of the noob friendly games, all you have to do is be like, hey, look, I know I'm above the level threshold, but I suck. Can you make an exception? And they probably will, as long as they look
Mm.
at your stats and realize, you're not secretly god tier. Um,
Nah. Yeah.
so yeah, yeah. So basically, everything we just talked about, I call that connectivity.
Mm.
I can play with my friends, I can meet people, but also allows me to have like a safe environment, because there are times where I want to play, but I don't want to deal with people. I don't want to see people discussing politics in chat.
No.
Like, there's all this stuff. So I
It's
like,
also an escape, gaming, and it's
yeah.
lovely that there's like a safe spaces where such topics can be explored and talked to with each other. I mean, I do that on stream as well. I think it's important that we do, but what you say, next to the fact that it's multiplayer, a lot of these games are competitive as well. There's like a competitiveness into it. And sometimes you want a game to relax. And what you say as well, just don't talk to people. Don't talk to people. I just want to talk to my imaginary husband, okay? That's the, that's the only thing I want to do. Um, but yeah, it's also the connectiveness. What was the word you were using? Connectiveness?
Connectivity.
Connectivity. Yeah. And I'm not sure where I was going with this story. You wanted to tell something as well. I
Oh
lost
no,
my
just
a
that
sentence.
I'm not seeing anything right off the bat, but I know that Reddit is a really good place to
Mm,
have define groups of like, 'cause, I mean, let's be honest, you're not. It's not that you want to get away from men, but the majority of the time, if you're being harassed online for your gender, why would other women harass you for your gender unless they're a troll? So it's like, it'd be easier to say that you have groups that are very inclusive as opposed to women
yeah,
only. Because once again, the problem is not wanting to be women only; it's not wanting to be harassed for your gender, which logistically means that you have to exclude men from those spaces.
yeah,
So, there's not a whole lot of gaming groups that are just purely with women on Reddit, but you will have gaming groups that are very inclusive, like no racism, no
mm-hmm,
bigotry, no harassment, stuff like that, where wholesome people can just get together and hang out and have a good time and essentially do what games are meant to do.
yeah. And I think I also most of the time really forget because in my mind I do like follow a lot of female streamers, or I follow like a female gaming Instagram pages and stuff like that. But still, I forget that the majority of gamers are men. That's just the demographic
Yeah.
is that. So in my mind, there's like tons of women, like millions of women who play games. And that's true. That's probably true, but it's they also tend to all if but I'm very generalizing here, guys. Yes, generalizing here. Most of the women that I follow do like the same games that I do. There's like
Yeah.
Stardew Valley, Sims 4, that's a big one. Um, and obviously there are women who play the competitive games as Call of Duty, the online multiplayer games. Um, and I was thinking about, right, that when I sit down behind my computer because we were talking about the perfect game, what that would be, because I never in my life until like a point that was like, oh, I'm gonna join a Call of Duty server. I never had the urge to do that because I get a lot of fulfillment from the games that I play on my own. So in that sense, we are indeed very polar opposite in what you take out of games, and I think it's wonderful that you can be so different, and at the same time think so much alike about what's important in games. But then, if it comes to what games are you playing or what are you looking for in it, it's very different for both of us.
Yeah, it's like I like the ability to customize the game for your stuff.
Mm,
For instance, me and Dan, we're very skilled people. We play fast action games that have a lot of like, you have to think about what you're doing with like your gear and your loadout and stuff like that. The problem is, Dan is schizophrenic. And what
mm,
happened is he got on these meds that made him super sluggish. So all of a sudden, we can't play games like League of Legends and Battlefield or whatever because he no longer has the reaction time because of his meds. So
mm,
all of a sudden, we're like, okay, well, how do we find games that we can play together that still
mm,
do that? So now, when it comes to MMOs, I love the idea of MMOs, but I feel like the social aspect of it gets taken out.
mm,
What I wanted to start doing is I don't like to push people to agree with my views, but I do like to have like safe places for people. So
mm,
one thing I wanted to start if I ever am successful and able to build my own MMO, the one thing I want to start having is things called red flag lists.
mm.
They're kind of like playlists on YouTube, but for people, to where I can be like, hey, I don't want to play with anyone who's sexist, and I meet someone else who's like, yeah, I don't want to meet other people who are sexist as well. So then you're able to, maybe they don't say enough in the games to get themselves kicked, but they're just really toxic and stuff. Um, and so then imagine that okay, I've met these people and they're really toxic, so I can share my list with you. And you can do quickly just like hey, go to that player's profile and snag their list of banned people and add it to yours real quick,
Yeah,
as well as unadd them if you need to. So you can quickly create a compendium of people like hey, I don't want to be people who are like this, or let's take even a step back. I don't want to play with highly skilled players or
yeah,
people who are really competitive and kind of aggressive about it. Because I won't lie, I do get very competitive. I can get
yeah,
kind of aggressive. But me and my friends, yeah, we might snap at each other, but we just brush it off. But I have
yeah.
my friend like Melody who doesn't like that.
Oh.
She's really sensitive. And there's nothing wrong with being sensitive. It's just a difference in personality. So
Mm-hmm.
be able to like have a way that allows players to quickly and easily put themselves into groups.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not been implemented enough.
Yeah, so you make like a pre-selection before starting your MMO that yeah, like I prefer to play with these type of players. I prefer to, for example, I would say I prefer to play with players who do not have a high ranking, do not necessarily are competitive. You can make like a pre-selection maybe in what kind of server you end up. Is that
Yeah,
right?
just yeah, I'll allow people the ability to stay in their own little groups without having to go online and wait for
Mm,
someone to make a group. Because then you have to vet everyone and do all this stuff. So I feel like games, um, they're so focused. I feel okay. So I mean, games have kind of gone downhill because corporations got involved, and the
yeah.
problem with you have lots of money is you can ruin anything. So the problem is a lot of games focus on writing and graphics and acting, and then that's it. Everything's left to the wayside. So one thing I want to start seeing is more a better social infrastructure. Like I can first when I first start up the game, it's like okay, are you a like where would you rate your sensitivity?
Yeah.
And so if that's at the most, where I'm like, hey, I'm really sensitive. It makes sure that you can't. It tries to limit your interaction with super aggressive people. Or it might put like a red dot next to the name, just to, let hey, this person is the exact opposite person
Yeah.
according
Are
to
you
your
sure you want
settings.
to play with this person? Yes or no? Yeah,
Because
I
the
think
problem with
that
World of Warcraft is, if I want to sell stuff with someone, I do need to be able to talk to everyone. I just don't want to play with someone like that. So then, it might queuing for like an instance or whatever. It makes sure to try and match you with other people that match your personality type. And like, hey, I'm also, okay, do you like to take the game super seriously, or are you more of a casual player? So make sure to only put you with people who are also
mm,
casual players, and stuff. So that's gonna be just like a few settings, like maybe it doesn't stop you from
no.
talking to the people who are the exact opposite, but it makes sure that you interact with them like an absolute bare minimum. And
Yeah.
I feel like that wouldn't be too hard of a thing to implement, but I think it would matter a lot to like gamers and stuff.
Yeah, because I would while I'm thinking about it, I think you would accommodate a lot of more players because I think speaking again for myself, I avoid games that are seen as highly competitive because
Yeah,
I think I am not fit for it. But maybe I really enjoy Apex. I don't know. I never tried because I in the first instance already choose not to do that because of the whole um s- is it really
everything.
a stigma? Is that the right word? I don't think it's the right word, stigma, but there's like this
Yes.
idea around these games that they're highly competitive, they're women unfriendly, they're fat phobic, and there's like
Yeah,
it's
stigma.
hard to break through such hard, very hard stigmas, while on the other end you see a lot of examples that it can be different. And I think if you if you make a multiplayer, a huge multiplayer where you already sift the people in the right, yeah, I don't want to call it boxes, but that's actually what you're doing. So if you're rating on, let's say, sensitivity is one of those things, that would encourage me to try it at least.
Yeah.
And if
And
I,
I feel like it would be good for advertisement as well.
yeah, it's a very good marketing as well because you have to think about the marketing as well. Yeah, it's a good
But
marketing
yeah,
strategy as well. Because that would be
yeah, that's
if you're into that type of game, let's say World of Warcraft esque, that type of game, because there's a lot of people who enjoy that type of games because otherwise World of Warcraft wouldn't be as huge as it is. I'm not sure if it's as huge as it was. I have no idea, but there's a lot of people playing the game. So yeah.
yeah, and the other thing, connectivity, inclusivity as
Mm,
well. So for those that aren't familiar with that word, be able to allow people of all type people to play a game. For
mm-hmm.
instance, how the hell am I supposed to play Call of Duty with someone who does not have any hands? Someone who's
Yeah.
disabled.
Yeah.
So one thing I'm currently working on is a game that's like it's a four-person co-op. You go on these missions and you do stuff, but I wanted to really ramp up inclusivity. So one thing I have is something called a bot mode, where essentially a disabled player can use a bot to supplement everything that they can't do. So now, and this bot is 100% customizable. It might help you out a little bit. It might help you out a lot. But basically, at the absolute bare minimum, you click on the general location you want your bot to go, or maybe set to follow another player, and it shoots everything for you. And you might, you have like the mouse, and you might click on, okay, are you going to be more stealthy? Are you going to be aggressive, where you just shoot everything? Are you going to try and dodge more? Are you going to try and shoot more? And so it's got all these different settings to it to allow someone who's disabled, because that's the problem I have is I have friends that are disabled, and it's difficult for me to play with them because we'll play a game that accommodates them. But to me, the game is so slow, boring, and easy that I don't really have fun. And honestly, I'm just playing it for their sake because they're my friend. I want them to have fun. But
Yeah.
yeah, I can only play with them for an hour or two because it does kind of. I hate to say it, it does kind of feel like a chore. Um, so that is one thing I'm trying to really push is having more support for disabled players and having like a now unfortunately having a game like Call of Duty or whatever where people have bots would be kind of difficult
Yeah.
without it being like unfair.
Well, then you have to say the same thing as you did with your own MMO. You could create special servers for people who are disabled and use bots. So you would create a separate
Yeah.
space. That's what on the top of my mind. That you would create a separate space where it's allowed to use bots to a certain degree, or until the game's still
Yeah,
fair.
yeah, disability servers essentially.
Mm-hmm. But
So I mean,
that's it.
allowing players could.
Yeah, and then on the other hand, you say like inclusiveness, and then on the other hand, but maybe that's like always the problem with inclusiveness is like a little bit of the paradox of the democracy. How inclusive can you go until it's not inclusive anymore? So in order to be inclusive, you have to be exclusive. So in order to give
Yeah, that's true.
everyone the same chance, you have to make. It reminds me because I obviously um, we talk a lot about this when you're working in education, right? Giving all the kids the same chances, and it's like the same principle applies a little bit here. There's like a picture. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like a picture of a fence, and the kids can't look over the fence. But one
Yeah,
kid
yeah,
is
I was about to
that
use that.
one. So one gets a ladder, one gets a box, one gets a stone, and they all are treated differently in order to look over the fence. And that's the essence of God.
But
Inclusiveness is that you treat everyone else in order to have the inclusiveness at the end. So
that's a very good point.
I was thinking about like what because my first thought was like, oh yeah, well, a disability server, doesn't that make you like different from the others? At the other hand, it gives you the chance to play with people who experience somewhat the same troubles in life, and also cannot play Call of Duty normally. So you have like a little bit more of an icebreaker, and then, yeah. And there's probably a lot of people, I assume, who do not mind playing against a disabled person who uses a bot. I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I'd be fine with that. Like, put your bot up to max and stuff, and like let it run around and murder me. Like, I'd be up for that.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's like a tankier character. Another example is while I would babysit this kid, Hunter. He's like 6, 7 years old. He'd
Mm.
always want to play Tekken. The problem
Mm.
is I grew up playing Mortal Kombat and Tekken and Soul Calibur, so I'd
He
slaughter his
cannot
stupid
beat
ass.
you for the life of him.
Well, it had the great thing about Tekken, or was it Tekken? Yeah, I think it was Tekken. It had two different difficulty sliders I could use. One would increase his health, and one would lower my health. So it would
Ah.
allow us, and I would just not use lots of combos and just use punches and kicks to try and still make things fair. Because at a certain point, if he can't keep up with me, I'm gonna knock him around like a rag doll. So I still have to lower myself a bit, but making
Yeah.
that easier to do is also useful. Because like the problem is we play it now we're evenly matched. And he's sitting there talking shit about me to his mom, be like, yeah, beating Tim's super easy. I'm like, you have 8 times my health, you little shit, and I'm still going easy on you.
Well, I'm happy. I mean, if that is what he's bragging about, I mean, there comes a time he will grow into it. It's so fun that at
Um,
least he's having fun,
yeah.
with
Then
you.
like playing Soul Calibur with my friend Livy, who was like she was like god tier at the game. She would sit there and like write down the combos for a character over and over and over again to help her memorize them, and she knew like what every button did and every combination of something. So she would freaking slaughter me at
Oh my
Soul
god,
Calibur. So she had to play
that's a
characters.
commitment.
Yeah, so it's
Commitment.
like the problem. Now the problem is, I am very skillful, but at this one particular game, she had a massive advantage. She had to play different characters,
Mm.
that make it that she's not as familiar with to kind of even the field. But then, like, if I piss her off, I didn't have a car back then, and if I piss her off, she would not drive me home unless she got to play as Sylvantis and slaughter me and beat me around the ring. I couldn't do anything because he's got these stupid teleport combos where he just appears and stabs you and throws you around, and by the time you get off her pain train, half your health is gone. Like,
Tim, it sounds to me like you want to talk about it. Is there like some? Sounds like you guys had a very good time together. Oh
but then we would play a game like Left 4 Dead, and
yeah.
I'd be headshotting everything with a sniper rifle, and
Yeah.
she'd tell me to like chill the fuck out, so she'd actually have a chance to shoot something.
Anything. Yeah,
So
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So making games that like allow people at different skill levels to play together,
Yeah.
that's really important. But also, not play with like toxic assholes.
Mm,
I feel like that aspect of gaming has been left behind,
mm.
as well as bots have always been considered, oh, you're using a bot, you're cheating, or it's purely like a computer controlled thing. I'm like, what if we can meet somewhere in the middle and use bots to help disabled people be able to play these games?
Yeah.
When we were growing up, me and my buddy Carl had this kid named George. George was a quadriplegic. He had a lobster hand, and that was it. He could
Aw.
not do anything else. But the problem is, we didn't have any inclusive games to play together.
Mm.
So, he couldn't do anything with Halo.
Aw.
um,
Just
so
watch.
then we'd have to, yeah, and we
Yeah.
felt bad, but we're just like, physically, what can we do? So we had
Yeah.
to like play a lot of board games and stuff where he'd be able to like say stuff, but he still had enough of a hand because I mean, if you at least have an arm, you can move around a mouse and click stuff on a bot that's heavily customized to fit your disability. And of course, then we get to the point where it's like, okay, well, what if you don't have any arms? Maybe at least use like this headset interface that you look at somewhere and you blink both eyes and that counts as clicking. So
Yeah.
then using something like that. So I feel like disabled people have been kind of left out of gaming. So something that has a lot of inclusivity allows normal players to be able to just play with like-minded people as well as allow disabled players to play with able-bodied players. I feel like that's someone really needs to step up and start doing that. I'm limited by, what am I physically capable
Yeah.
of? Like, you're playing, I'm still at the point where you play my horror game. Also, sometimes the menu freaks out. I'm not
Yeah.
exactly qualified to make inclusive games for disabled people yet, because I'm just trying to make a normal game.
Yeah. Well, you have to start somewhere, and I mean, you're on your own, so I think it's hard enough because you have to learn how to program first, and then story, and then everything else. I mean, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, now here's the thing. For anyone interested in getting into game design, having to write code is a thing of the past. It's archaic. I use something called Playmaker, which is a visual state machine. Instead of writing out code, I use like if-then statements and drop-down
Ah,
menus and groups and stuff. So
yeah,
you start off with a state, and a state is essentially like a group of actions. And then to go from one state to the other, you use something called a transition, which also, is fired off by an action. So it highlights what state it's in, what actions are going right now. It'll highlight the transition that it just took, and it's very visually appealing. Whereas with script, it's essentially just like you write a giant book and hope that what you wrote works. And if it doesn't,
yeah,
you have to use a lot more like deductive reasoning to figure out what's going on.
yeah,
Which was my like. Let me tell you, trying to learn coding made me want to sob my eyes out. Like it was so
yeah,
frustrating. So there's
yeah.
And I feel like writing code, it doesn't work for everyone's brain. So I like
No.
the idea that they're coming up with more and more tools to allow different kinds of people to make games as well. Because
Yeah.
I feel like, when you make something that's inclusive for everyone, I feel like it all does get better. But then, of course, you have to have, like what you talked about, the downside of like, okay, in order to be inclusive, there are certain kinds of people you have to exclude. So, but so yeah, I like, I feel like, when it comes to the perfect game, making a game that's inclusive for more people, where I can, play in like a safer environment, um, and stuff. And the problem is that, I'm a big, I'm a big supporter of not allowing children to play with adults.
Hmm.
I've
Makes
had too
sense.
many instances I've had too many instances of someone trying to groom a child or trying to talk them into being a Nazi or just saying something that's really upsetting. And the other problem is,
Yeah.
kids, out of all groups online, kids get bullied the most because, they're annoying. Like, and it's not their fault. They're just kids.
Yeah.
But the problem is they get bullied a lot, and when you play with an adult, I might say something to another adult that we don't care about, but you might say that same thing to a kid, and they'll be thinking about it for the next 10 years while they're in therapy. Like,
Yeah, I think it's maybe people forget that there's like, to put it very plainly, 40-year-olds playing games, or like 50-year-olds even, or like very, very grown up people. And then there's like 10-year-olds, 8-year-olds, like playing Call of Duty online, which I think is also parents, you know? Eh,
yeah,
But that's how I look at it. But um, you have to, it's very weird to me that a 10-year-old can play the same Call of Duty of Battlefield game as a 35-year-old. That they can be in the same game. And
yeah,
how many times did our parents, and mine included, said to me, "Don't talk to strangers," you know? And obviously there's a lot of good people. Again, there's not the majority. There are a lot of good people who are playing games. There's a lot of nice people who are playing games, but it's such a fragile, and it comes again, and it that works hand in hand with social media, but it's more a social thing. This It's like, um the there's like no boundary online, right? You can say whatever shit you want, because for kids, and we see that the same when I was still teaching to kids, online bullying as well, do not realize there's actually a person on the other side of the microphone.
yeah,
Or and um what we saw as their teachers is they talked a lot of shit, and then when they actually knew what they were doing and they were sitting in front of the person who they were bullying, they have no idea. They are not far enough in their brain to realize that what they are saying online, in a space that is open, excuse me, in a space that is open and for everyone, that your actions have consequences. Same counts for grown-ups, people. Your actions have consequences. But there's two very different minds playing the same game, and that just doesn't feel right. And sometimes
yeah, and
something that doesn't feel right should be enough to not do it, right? We have to trust our gut as well, and I think we can all agree that some games you should make a difference in age, and on the other end you can lie about your age. So
yeah,
it's like a never ending story of how to separate those things. But I agree with you. There should be more. And I never thought of it that way as well. Now that you mention it, because I do play a lot of single player games, so I never encounter these problems. Is that, yeah, I never thought of it, but yeah, there's a lot of young kids playing games as well, and they're allowed to, but it's
yeah,
weird.
and that's
It feel doesn't
yeah,
it
and
doesn't
that's
it makes like my it makes me itch in not like the right way.
yeah, it gives you the ick.
Yeah, it gives me the ick. Yeah. Well, it's not
It's like, oh,
not
that's not
necessarily a
okay.
person's fault or something. It's not necessarily a person's fault. It's not necessarily the game's fault. It's also the culture around gaming as well. And kids can shit talk as well a lot. So but growing up with social media is hard enough. I do not speak from experience, luckily, but it's what I see, what I saw as a teacher. That's hard enough already, and then get bullied again in this online space where people, and especially kids who are not having a lot of friends, try to find more friends. Um, yeah, it doesn't sound nice. No.
And then it also creates this annoying paradox where the problem is you can't just let kids play by themselves because kids might sit there and bully someone else and not think about how
Yeah.
it's affecting that other person. So you kind of need like adult intervention. Um, So I was playing this game called Gun Raiders. It's a VR game where you shoot stuff. Mostly children play it. And I'm not gonna lie, I am guilty of sitting there and mowing down scores of children and having them scream at me over an open mic and call me a butthole and stuff just for me to shoot them again. It's a guilty pleasure. I'm an asshole. I know. I should not be playing with kids. But motherfucker, when I've had a bad day, and I've had truckers yell at me, it is fun to go there and be like, hey, you want to join me? What, you shoot me? Like, yep,
Yeah, I
you
did.
shut your little mouth.
Man, so much things
um,
to grow, and it's so much chances for the gaming community and the gaming space to grow as well. Because if you look at how young the gaming community is, it's very young. It's like a few
yeah.
years now.
But then it's like, so the problem is, when we have kids play together, you have to have some kind of adult oversight. But then it's just kind of like,
How?
how do I don't know what to do about it. Like it's complicated
Yeah, and
because like
and on the
I've
other
done that as
end,
a kid.
I really think it's not. Let's say you play a game with younger kids. It's not your responsibility as a person that they do not know to hold them accountable for their action in an online game that they agreed to play. It's their parents that have to keep an eye on what they are doing online, and it's just, at least what we see here is that they do not really care or do not understand. That's also a big part. They do not always understand what online gaming is and how it works. And but I don't think it's let's say our responsibility, very plainly said, as strangers, grown-up strangers that they know, to keep them. Well, you can say something about it, but you would do that with grown-ups as well. If I'm playing a game with someone else who's shit talking, I hope we say something about that as well. So you could do that with kids
Yeah.
as well. Obviously, if they exhibit behavior that is not acceptable, you can just say that. Um,
Well, what I like about World of Warcraft, you have moderators and admins you can contact if there's a problem. So that kind
mm,
of works. But with something like Call of Duty and Battlefield, like everyone's just kind of thrown into it, and how the gaming culture works is just
yeah,
how it works. Um, and then so it's like even with Minecraft, I had a time where I had this giant palace, and I wanted to hire someone to like decorate the floor. I was talking to this one player. She's like, "Oh, I came up with this really cool design," and she just did the standard checkerboard thing. She's like, "Yeah, I got this idea from church," and I'm staring at her. I'm like, "How old are you?" She's like, "I'm 12." I'm like, "Oh."
makes sense.
I'm like, I've been arguing with my interior decorator who's a 12-year-old. But it's like I want them to have fun and play with people, but I want to prioritize them being safe,
Yeah,
both like with from predatory adults, but also from being bullied from other kids,
yeah,
and trying to create an environment that allows both. Is kind of a pain.
yeah,
Like it's easier with an MMO because you have a dedicated staff to
yeah,
keep an eye on everything that they can talk to if they need help.
yeah. Hmm, that's interesting. I never thought of it like that. But it's like it's
And
a
then we
good
have
question to ask yourself, but also like in the ether, it's a good question. Like, how are
Well, like
we?
as a game developer, I have to keep that in mind. Like, how am I
Yeah,
going to keep my players safe? How
yeah,
can I keep your credit card information safe? How do I keep my younger players safe?
yeah,
Like, it's I don't get to just I don't get to just shrug and say I don't know. I have to figure that out because if I make a game that makes it way too easy for predators to have access to children, that's on me.
yeah. That is, yeah, yeah.
Ugh. But yeah, so perfect game. Plenty of difficulty adjustments. lots of connectivity, be able to talk to panel people, more stuff for disabled people, and keeping people safe. And be able to accommodate like plenty of the ability to play it casually or to like deep dive into it.
Like
Like
really do it, like grind it. Like,
yeah. One thing I also want to, I know we're running a bit long here because it's
mm.
an hour and 23 minutes. It does not feel like that at all because there's like no
No.
dead air between us. That's
But
that's
yeah,
actually
for
how
the
these
sake of the
podcasts go
podcast, we
though.
should end it somewhere.
Yeah. Cosmetic stuff. What I don't want is like, okay, I have to choose between I can wear this helmet that gives me the best stats, but it gives me, the kitty head, and I don't want to look like a cat.
Oh,
So being able to like
layered
customize,
armor.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love
like the
layered armor.
Guild Wars 2 did it perfectly where we can cover a piece, you can once you get a piece you unlock how it looks cosmetically. So you can
Ah.
change how all your pieces look while still be able to like, maintain your stats. So that's something that's really important to me is like, I will always choose logistics over cosmetics.
Mm.
The problem with there's a mode in Soul Calibur where you equip different pieces and they change your stats. You have the most stupid looking characters ever, where there's just no theme and you're wearing random pieces, but logistically, your stats are really really good.
Yeah.
So be able to just kind of like put me into that would be a little bit more work for that would be great. Be able to like balance my stats with how I look.
Yeah. The Monster Hunter has the same system where you can craft layer armor for like less materials. So you just get this cosmetic or like event quest where you get like specific cosmetics, And that's just fairly easy to obtain as well. And I like that system that I have to do something in order to earn it, like a challenge or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, be able to earn stuff. They
Yeah.
need to bring that back. Like in I think it was Call of Duty. It's like there were skins that you could only unlock with headshots, and there was like a golden skin. I think you had like 10,000 headshots in order to unlock it. So you saw someone with a golden gun, you're like, oh, this person is not messing around. And
No.
then it's like that's for each and every single gun. So when you see someone they've got a golden pistol and a golden sniper off, you're like, oh
This, oh no,
no.
this is business. My man
But
means
that also,
business.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think I want to end the podcast episode there. That
Yeah.
way, all your viewers can play Stardew Valley, and I'm gonna go get some sleep.
Thanks very much for uh, scheduling this in my time zone. I really appreciate that.
I try to be accommodating. I work third shift, so it does make it a little easier to accommodate people who are overseas. And the problem is when I talk to other Americans, we just kind of talk about current politics, and it's kind of
Mm.
exhausting. So, all right. Anyways, if you have any, if you, so I sent the list of topics. If you find anything else you want to talk about, or even bring in one of your fans, let me know. We'll work something out. Anyways, thank you so much for being part of my podcast. I'll catch you later.
Thank you. Bye bye, Tim.
Bye.
Okay, guys, that was it. That was it. I'm back. I didn't want to go. Oh, music. I didn't want to go through the podcast episode too much. So I didn't want to speak through Tim too much. Also, my second screen stopped working mid-podcast, which is great. So, hi everyone. Hi Joven. I think it's the first time you're here. I hope you're still here. If you're not still here, thanks for hanging out for a while. Green, good to see you. Nice to have you hanging around. Same for Red. Hi. Both Red and Green are here. Thanks so much. I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. Really nice of Tim to ask me to talk about the perfect game. We did run a little bit late, but that's okay. I really enjoyed doing that. We're not doing that type of stuff a lot, so I was really honored to be asked. And I like talking about games, so and I do like talking a bit. So I'm going to try and put my thing where in the screen and hope it works. But I have to use my eyes for it, so give me a second. much at my beautiful plush collection and my cute little shirt. Live fast, eat trash. Oh, it works. Sometimes it just does that. It just stops working. Also sweating my freaking ass off here. Okay, you're back in the position that you belong. On the tiny screen. Because you get to be on the tiny screen. I hope you guys enjoyed. Are you still ready for a little bit Stardew Valley? If you want to talk a little bit more, we can do that as well. How you guys this week been? It's Thursday here. It's hot as hell. No, that's not. It's not like Texas. It's not like Texas heat. Click Discord away just in case so we don't get notifications. Heh. That's why my hair is like looking like this as well. Because I've been sweating all day. Ooh, I should have told. I never told you guys. I never told. So, I never told. Anyway, I went to a Megadeth concert on Tuesday. I don't know if you guys know Megadeth. I don't know if you know. They're a metal band. Dave Mustaine, which is an old guitarist from Metallica, which was kicked out of the band and then started his own band. But anyway, Megadeth is my favorite band. And I bought new 2 band shirts, so I'm gonna grab those so I can show you them. You can't, unfortunately, play any of their, because I get copyright them. What? Stay here. Don't go anywhere. Oh my god, it's so warm. Okay. You want to see? Like their official merchandise. This is a large because I didn't have it in a small anymore. Because I'm a tiny woman. It's mirrored. I'm sorry, but it's killing time. It says that. And then it's like the tour dates. But I drove to the other side of the country for it, which is a 3-hour drive for me because I live in a tiny country. So I drove 3 hours. This one they had in the small. This is also the tour shirt. From their newest album, with all the dates on them. It's more, I like these, I like the other one better. It's more of a collector's item for me than it's really like something I would wear every day. Hi, Shaquille! I was showing off my shirt! They still have to be washed, they smell like new shirts. Anyway, but I bought a ticket. Finally, yes! Finally we meet. I bought like on Ticket Swap. I don't know guys if you guys use the website as well. But I didn't know they were coming to the Netherlands, so I bought a ticket on Ticket Swap this weekend. And the concert was on a Tuesday evening. It's always like that. On a random Tuesday evening at 8:30 p.m. until 10. But I had to drive to the other side of the country for it, which again for me is a 3-hour drive, 3.5, and I'm back. But it was worth every. Can I just show you guys like a little video? I can do that, right? I think we can do it without sound. I think we should be fine. Because otherwise, copyright issues and stuff. Sorry. It's also not great audio quality, so it doesn't really matter. It's not that I'm, like, earning any money, so who cares? So I was standing next to the light guy. I'll turn my phone. Oh god, we have to... Can I also, like, turn this motherfucker? Can we do that? Huh. No, we cannot. So, you just have to... watch it like that. It's my favorite band, you guys! I saw my favorite band live! Can't hear shit. You can't hear shit. Anyway, Megadeth. And, like, you spell it like that. Like that. You can't see shit. Oh. I saw my favorite band and I was very proud of myself because I drove there all by myself. I drove them all by myself. All by myself. Excuse me if that ruined your ears, but I do not regret that one bit. Which was an alleviating, is that the right word, experience to do that on your own for the first time. Because I'm like a pussy ass bitch. I don't do things on my own that much. So driving to the other side of the country, going to a concert on my own, then driving 3 hours back in the middle of the night. I loved it. Made friends. Meet their cover band, which is Megadeth with EA. I really enjoyed myself. I had a fun time. Bought two cool new shirts as a collector's item. I had a lot of fun. So that was the most exciting thing about my week, which I decided I tried to do a little bit more of those things because I was busy enough or something. How was your week? Your guys' week? Until now. Oh god, Steam has a summer sale. 11th of July. It's so warm. Game. Starting up the game, by the way. I also have to redo my brows because all the purple is out of them. It should probably be a little louder. I'll turn it up in a minute. It sounds good. Excuse me doing some streamer things. Come on, OBS. Jesus Christ, come on. I swear to God. Yeah, thank you. Jesus Christ. It took such a long time. Yeah. We're here. We're going almost into fall. I can't remember what we were doing, so... Fishing, probably. Excuse me. Ooh, it's raining. I'm very happy. Well, lovely. More beans? I got more beans. I need one more. Ooh, the music. I have to turn up the music. Turn up the music. I'm gonna make it out loud. Oh. Then I have to turn up the music here. Let me know, 'cause you're now just hearing if this is good enough for you, my friends. Yes, yes, my friends. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. It is good, right? It's good. Oh, I already brought a duck. Okay. Can we make duck mayonnaise then? Let's try that. I think we were cleaning up here or on top. Ah, we were cleaning up here. Oui. Okay. Have we reached the bottom of the mines? I don't think so. No. Okay, then is that the right thing to do? Because I'd rather spend time in the mines. Let's just put these away for now. And bring this here. We should be fine for now. Maybe we can see some big green wormpies. Ooh, you tried the new pizza place? Ooh, tell us. What did you have? How was it? Lived it up to your expectations? Ooh, green wormpy. I see you. Yeah, broccoli. I love broccoli. Broccoli, as we say in Dutch. Broccoli. Whoa, level 80. We're almost there. Almost there. Oh, I need a better sword. Cool. Ooh, a diamond. Another one. We have like a lot in this playthrough. Nice. I thought I was lucky today. What is this bullcrap? Takes too damn long. Nice. Ooh, an iron bar. That's nice. Thank you. That's very sweet of you. Could we make it to level 100? Would be nice. So many enemies. Next floor, please. This lock isn't really working out, is it? Ah. It's always close to the entrance. So mean. I'm full. Huh, that's a good question. Oh no. Well, we do have funeral delivery. Maybe they tend to have like different jobs? Because that would be... I mean, driving alone or cycling, because they do deliver here on a bike as well. Alone. As a woman? Something to do with safety, maybe? you're right. Oh, I need that one. Can I lose something? That one. Don't care about that. $18.9. One level to go. Hey, where's the ghosty man? Oh. I swear I saw another enemy down here. Ooh, well, we can dump that one. And we can dump like a whole lot of junk in here. And pick it up another time. Just bring back the essentials later. Yeah, that's much better. Much better, innit? Ooh. Thank you. Yeah, try. And I have no idea. I think for me it would be a safety, I guess. Be alone in the streets. Come here, you little crabby. Oh dear, I'm almost out of health. Nope. Nope. We can bring that to Gunter, but it's no use because he's closed. That's for fall, which is nice. Bring that. Bring those. Oh, this is fine for now. Yeah. Yeah. But then, okay, so safety isn't the issue then. Maybe it's just not a fun job, or maybe it's just because it's all men who are doing the job that there's just automatically more men soliciting for it. Because they like be with the boys and stuff. I guess I would, if I knew there's a lot of men doing that specific job, maybe I would be less inclined to solicit there. I think. I have to take a break for a moment because I have to go to the pee. Be right back. So, I'm back. Quick pee break. Let's keep these safe, just in case. I don't know that we need it for something. Doggo? Hey. We need to water everything. Oh, it's so hard gaming. It's so fun that when we were talking, Tim was talking in the podcast about how he likes games to be challenging. To me, this is the pinnacle of gaming. It's really fun to talk with people about games and what they prefer and what they like. Shaquille, do you have like a favorite game that you would pick up if I said to you like, what's the first game that comes up to your mind? It doesn't have to be your favorite of all times, but like, which game pops into your brain? Nice. I can't find the little ducky. Isn't she going? He's gone. Yeah. Do you guys have a favorite game? Or like a game that's very safe to grab. Like, it's always good. No matter how. To sell these safely. It's so warm in here. I came downstairs where like the doors are open to the outside. It's just this computer is like trying its best. Bye, Sam. We should pick up the rest in the mines. I now come to think of it. Okay, he smells barbecue. Okay. Okay, let's go. Yeah, let's run to the... Oh yeah, the Song of the Moonlight Jellies. What's it again? It's tomorrow in the game. Oh, excuse me. Ha, Linus. Hi, Linus. I'm happy that you're happy. I have no clue. What's the time? Okay, I have to bring the important stuff first. I don't need that. I don't need that. This one. I already delivered this one. This one. That one. And the rest is not necessarily... You're welcome, Linus. Ooh. Hi, Abigail. Hi, Abigail. Excuse me. Do not look at the museum and how it's arranged. Please do not look at it. Yeah, I don't care about the bear. To be very honest. Have we fixed this already? No. Oh, I fixed it in my own game. I do have like my pockets full. That's not very handy dandy. Okay. There's some stuff we can dump. Oh, no, not that one. These. Ah, thank you for your mayonnaise. Clean up, clean up everywhere. We can find mystery boxes now. Oh. When you want these trees to grow, they take so incredibly long, and at the other end, if you don't want them to grow, they just sprout out everywhere. We're gonna lose these trees, but it is what it is. We can chop them from the other side. Nice. That doesn't work. The seeds. Let's rest for now. I make bread. Now I know how to make bread. Oh yeah, 10 a.m. p.m. Well, we can destroy all of this. That will save us tomorrow a lot of time. Finally! Oh! We can destroy all these plants. We'll just keep one row with, well, corn doesn't give us that much. We just needed it to make space for pumpkin seeds, to be honest. I'm not sure if the coffee will grow in So 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. What kind of stupid number is that? Prepare everything for tomorrow. So we can have like a nice fresh field for all our pumpkins that we're gonna plant. Pumpkininos. Hey, hi Mr. Bubbles. Hello, welcome to the stream. Oh, I'm sitting down like a fucking shrimp again. Sit straight. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Okay, so nice and prepared for tomorrow. Hi, how are you doing? How's your Thursday been until so far? It's evening here, so that's why I ask. Had a good week? Let's put him here. She's there. He's here. Don't think we can buy seeds yet. We could do some fishing. Wait for the moonlight jellies. Good? Well, nice. Tiny good. You play Stardew Valley yourself? Aw, really? Oh, this is maybe a good chance to let Clint. I always remember these things way too late. To let Clint break open some geodes for us. Jesus. Words are hard. Oh, you haven't? That's, I assume, what that means. These. I assumed right then. That's okay though. You watched more playthroughs or? It's okay? Ah, Jojo Mart, no. I can't bring my heart to do a Jojo run. Yes, process some geodes, please. Would there be something we do not have yet? Also did not check if we have a lucky day or not, so... I guess not. Hey, gold is pretty nice. Oh, what is that? Pancakes? Oh, crab cakes. Oh. So it's like pancakes with crab, I guess? Okay, this is very disorganized, so please watch away. Well, I'll just randomly put this in a spot. I'll do this when it's all like in a spot. Ooh, pumpkin seeds, that's nice. I don't really want to do the decor stuff. But the pumpkin seeds are nice. I can use them tomorrow immediately. Because I think I watched like a very deep dive video about the statistics of the game, like which crop is most profitable, etc, etc. I think the melon, the summer melon, is the most profitable. But so it would be the smartest to put like all your money into the summer crops, but I like pumpkins. I think they're fun. So there's not necessarily, because in my other playthroughs I just collected these until I had like 20 of each at some point, because you get like the same over and over again. But you can just sell them because they have like no other value. So I'll sell them. Ooh, seeds. Go in here. Then we... Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so we have to buy a lot of seeds tomorrow. Just spend all our money on it. Gotcha. Let's make some gold bars and then some iron bars. Clean up a little bit more of the farm. Go see the moonlight jellies later. I should build another silo. Yeah. Because this map that we chose, the new map, we have the map that's part of the 1.6 update, is not really meant for like big farming operations. It's more like to keep animals. Hey, a new power. What exactly did I learn? You game yourself too, Mr. Bubbles? Ooh. That's it for today. Yeah, I should be building another silo because I have cause, Michael. Winter is approaching. Winter's approaching. And you want enough hay in the silos for winter, for the chickens, so we don't have to do that. Okay, there's not much to do for us more than this, so let's go do a round of foraging and then come back at the beach. You do like gaming? Something with a hammer? I'm very bad at reading emojis, so I'll try my best to... But like building games? Do you mean that? Like, where you build your own settlement? Or maybe more Sims-like? Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry. It's all meant. Linus, we gotta go, man. We gotta go see the moonlight jellies. Or do you build games? I was now like short circuit. Do you like to build games? That's also an option, obviously. No one saw that. What did you got in the trash, Mayor? What you got in the trash? Nothing? Nothing? I don't trust it. He got something. You don't got nothing. That's boring. Okay, let's wait until it's 10 p.m. and then we can... 10 p.m. and then the... Just a little longer. Yay! Dance of the moonlight jellies. Okay, I'm really not in the mood to talk to everyone, but I'm sorry, guys. Yes. It's really nice music. I hope it's loud enough. I have it a little louder. We got the special one. And tiny babies. Okay, I'll turn down the music again. Ooh, my golden bars are ready. Excuse me. Okay, ready to spend some money. Yeah, it's like worth nothing as well. But better to that than have no space. Oh, all my hard work was nothing. It's my favorite season of all. It's fall. Oh my god, it's so much work. I thought it would keep at least something. How wrong I was. But hey, beggars can't be choosers. It is what it is. Nice square. So it's not like fucking ADHD all over the place. Like I did last time. And also just, it looks horrible. So we need a few different types of... vegetables that we have to plant. So if I remember correctly, it's 11, like 3, 6, 9, 11, yeah. 3, 6, 9, 11. 14 is 100. Oh, this is really bad. Is 144. Jesus Christ, it's been a long day. Excuse me. I am just 154 minus 2 is 152. So we have rows of 11. So they go by rows of 22. We have a few must-haves, which is 22 of those, 22 of those, 22 of those. Let's do 10 of those, because these are expensive. And like a lot of these, like as much as we can. Nah, that's enough for now. Do I did this right? Yeah. Yeah. Bye-bye! Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out, Mr. Bubbles. Thanks so much for coming. Really appreciate it. Have a great day. So, I saw that we have a lot of fertilizer laying around. Let's actually use that for... Thank you. Thank you so much for giving hearts. Okay. Then we have speed grow. Then we have normal fertilizer. Is this enough? I don't think. Oh my god, it's enough. Wow. Let's do first a row of these. This looks a lot better. Oh, we got yams. Don't tell me. Okay, I didn't do it exactly right. I need 9. Ooh. Oh, that is perfect. Mmm, feels so good. Okay, I also have 11 broccoli seeds, which I want to plant. This is a lot of watering work. I do know that, but there should be a lot more rain in fall, so we can upgrade the watering can pretty quickly. I'm looking at the time as well. I think this would be a good last day to play. Nice good start of the next season. Okay, guys, just focus. Focus. God. Okay. And we're a day further. A full day of just watering. Oh, yeah. I remember. Oh, I haven't pat my chickens yet. No! I forgot, guys. I was so busy. I'm so sorry. That one. And then what? I was thinking about something and I already forgot. Oh yeah. Cloudy with gusts of wind. Ooh, iridium sprinkler. Finally! Not that we can make it, but hey. Let's say hi to the chickens first. Yes, you are loved. I said I wasn't going to start a new day, but... I guess here we are. Such concentrated work, this watering. No, I wanted to do a vertical line. Okay, let's go and do some foraging. Nice. god, we have so much to clean up again. Never ends. That's one. A common mushroom. A common mushroom. These trees are so green. If you like look at it from afar. Hi, Hat Mouse. Are you like selling something fun now, or? No, not yet. Not something a lot more fun than I already have on my head. Obviously, I have no space. Didn't think of that. Nothing really wildly exciting going on. Oh. Hello there, Raven. Showed up the perfect time. A special board. Okay, so it's just essentially bigger tasks that the locals will ask me. Thanks. How much moss? How many moss? Okay. Looking at the time, I'm just going to end the in-game day here. Okay. Done everything I wanted. Made a little money. Okay. And I'll go back to you guys. Oh, fluffy hair from the weather. Okay. Already the end of the stream. Oh, it was so much fun. We did like, I feel like we had like a very long stream at the same time and a very short stream. Because it was so much fun to do the podcast with Tim. Again, I want to thank him so much for asking me to talk about games. I really enjoyed that. Oh, sweat. For anyone who's still watching, I'll see you guys on Sunday. Because that's just will go on. I'll be just live streaming on Sunday with more neon white. For now, I wish you all a great evening wherever you are. And I'll see you guys on Sunday. Have a great evening. Drink enough water. Do your SPF and everything on your face. And I'll see you guys on Sunday. Bye bye!
ce qui m'arrive, qu'est-ce que je représente, qui je suis, putain. Va falloir que je me lève, que je recommence à zéro. C'est comme ça que ça se termine. Une balle dans la tête, deux balles dans le ventre. Mais putain, faut que je me relève, que je me casse. Comment je vais pouvoir me sortir